Hello, everybody. So let me shut that off. Um, Coming a little bit late today. Good reason. I had to have a quick meeting about a story I'm working on for an upcoming project. So I can actually say I'm slow today because of writer things. Woo! But because of said writer things, I need to be writing today. So that is actually going to be on the agenda for today. Um, I've got lots of stuff that needs to get written. So today we're going to be kind of busting out some words, even a little more than typical. Um, Kind of 2,000 words is the minimum for me to hit for today, which will put my story uh, I think near complete, if not complete. It doesn't mean the story's over because I still have to go back in and add a lot of content that I intentionally just wrote notes to myself. So something that a lot of writers do is when we're working, um, there's no point in stressing over the stuff that you're like, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this. So instead of doing that, what you just do is you leave a note for yourself saying, get to it later. Um, and what this does is it allows you to kind of focus on the stuff that you can do right away, um, which I guess in a weird way kind of makes the last bit of writing a little bit of a slog because you do the stuff that you like or the stuff that's kind of ramping you up right away, and then you save the rest for later. And I'm sure there's some authors who are like, no, I'd rather space out the misery. Because right now, what I'm intentionally not writing are the sex scenes in my book. And not that I'm opposed to them or anything. It's just I want to be in a little bit of a different mindset when I write them. And I want to write, there's three of them in this story. I want to write them back to back so that I make sure that each of them is very individual, that they each have, their own time to shine. And I think if I spread them out over several days of writing, what would happen is I would start to repeat myself, which isn't horrible, but the reader, wants something a little bit different each time, and there's a different emotional component. So that's kind of my headspace when it comes to um, my process. And again, I'm very much of the mind that there is no right um, there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's basically whatever helps you get the words out. Um, so I actually today I have so much cool news. So first and foremost, let me do some name dropping. If you're a fan of superheroes, um, these live streams are actually brought to you by superherofiction.com. That's superhero-fiction.com. Um, we are the largest repository of curated superhero books on the internet. Even Amazon can't say that because, as we all know, if you check the Amazon categories, it's rarely is it superheroes these days. So, um, so yeah. But other big news. the podcast that Trish Heinrich and I do, the Geekorama podcast, just hit 1,000 downloads, which is, I don't know, kind of a big deal. Like, that's a lot of zeros. Um, and there's no end in sight. We're actually kind of stoked for our shows this month, um, because it's February and because we're releasing the superhero romance anthology. We have some fun topics to talk about, like our favorite superhero couples. I refuse to say Superman and Lois. Um, I'm not going to give mine away. I've been thinking about this for a week now. I think I have some good ones. And then our other topic is going to be the couples we always wanted to have that never made it. Hi, Adam. So yeah, that's going to be this week. We're recording those for the month. So, and then on other big news, the Behind the Mask, Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but even more than Spider-Man, I'm in love with the 2018 run of Venom. I've been reading that for the last 2 weeks, and oh, so much awesome Venom. Um, superheroes all day, every day. I really need to spend an evening just, it's almost over, unfortunately. So, um, yeah, and now I just saw that there's a new issue of, I can't believe they decided to make this name Gwenom, the Gwen Venom symbiote. Um, I think they're getting a little out of control with it, but if it's Venom, I'm on board. Um, my favorite run of Spider-Man was the Venom suit, so it's just, I think that's when I started reading Spider-Man. Um, so it's always just been part of my thing. Oh, Spider-Man or Iron Man? Ooh. I'm gonna go Spider-Man. Definitely Spider-Man. Because if you took away all their technology, Tony Stark is just a smart man, a rich smart man. Whereas Spider-Man still has like the web crawling, the spider sense, like super strength. He still has abilities. With their suits, that's a tough one because Tony Stark is kind of like the Batman. He knows how to take everyone out. But for me, definitely Spider-Man, just period. I would rather read a Spider-Man comic any day of the week. Um, actually, Iron Man might be my least favorite of all the Avengers. I even like Hawkeye more than Iron Man. I'm kind of stoked for the Hawkman limited series that's coming. All right. I need to hop into some sprints, so I'm going to wind up muting my mic. I'll actually. Uh, yeah, in the movie Adam, I definitely love the relationship between Tony and Spider-Man. Um, the Far Away from Home. Oh, that hit me right in the heart. That entire movie. All right, I'm going to mute my mic. I'm going to get some writing done, and I will be back at 12:30. All right, let's see how it turned out. 1260. As windows are popping open everywhere. 375 words. I'm going to call that a victory. Okay. Sprint 1, 375 words. Did I get that right? Yep. And I think I'm actually going to have a companion coming in very shortly. So let's go from 1240 to 1. Put that up. All right. My story right now is, I think I'm writing it a little more confusing than it needs to be. Part of the story takes place in virtual reality, but there's also a bit that takes place in the real world. And I think superhero authors have a little bit of an extra difficulty in the fact that we have characters that have multiple personas. So one of our characters might be named Bob, but also be, the Sentinel. And much like Superman, Clark Kent is a very different character than Superman, though they're the same person. So you're almost writing multiple characters, and from a reader standpoint, it gets confusing when you're like, oh crap, which characters is which person? And I'm kind of running into that even as I'm writing it. I'm like, I'm getting the names confused, and if I'm getting them confused, I know the reader will. So that's definitely something on my improvement list for as I move forward. So again, right now it's more, let's get the story out and then we'll refine it as we go. But I am kind of happy with how the story's progressing. There's a little bit of angst happening, maybe a little bit too much angst. But I think it's adding to the story, so we'll see. I think every author gets really excited when they have that aha moment and they realize, oh, this is where the plot's going. We get kind of excited about that stuff. It's kind of like when you're watching a movie and you're like, oh, I understand the twist. That's always kind of a big moment for me, which is unfortunate because now, like, I watch every movie and oh no. So yeah, I think I can finish this plot today. That's kind of the goal. I have two more scenes that I want to write. The next one's a little more actiony, and then the one after that will be kind of the resolution plot. So I know where I'm going. I get super excited by this stuff. Thankfully, I don't have any like admin tasks I actually need to do today. Everything was yesterday. So I added new books to the superhero fiction website. Um, I got things ready for the romance anthology. Um, Trish is kind of helping out. Actually, Trish is doing a lot of the romance anthology. I can't really take credit for that. Um, I did the physical putting stuff together, and she is the one handling uh, everything else. So that's good. Um, uh, do, 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 do. Doing some back end Amazon stuff in between, which is kind of nice because we can uh, kind of squeeze it into the 10 minutes, which is kind of why I really, really support the Pomodoro technique, the 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off, um, because like you do your admin stuff really, really fast and get it out of the way. All right, we are going to go into another sprint. I'm going to do another 20 minutes, and we'll see if we can beat the 375. I think I know where the plot's going, so we might be able to do it. All right, I'm going to mute the mic. We might have someone pop in midway. We'll see what happens. Time. Let's see. Ooh, 401. I'll take it. How's it going on your end?
Hello.
Hello.
I have these new sound canceling headphones that have Bluetooth, so I don't have to have them plugged in my iPhone. But when they're on Bluetooth, they're not hooked up to the computer, so I have a separate cord for that. So I just have to jack it in. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Slowly moving through this story.
Are you at the end of it, or are you in the middle?
So I figured out what the plot is. So essentially, this person with real life powers is in a virtual simulation with this other internet persona, and they are teaming up for some super sexy time, basically to make bank.
Got it.
And then the main character plays the hero, who always loses because, you know, the internet doesn't want the hero to win. And like the citizens or their subscribers get to choose how the story ends. And of course, you know, because it's sexy time, it's basically they're voting on what's going on in the plot. But his arch nemesis wants to meet in real life, and the hero's kind of scared because he does have real powers and people are persecuted for that. And so that's the romance plot to it. But just as they were about to log out last time, another super person showed up in their simulation, and essentially they got hacked.
Oh.
So in the virtual world, they are going to defeat the hacker, basically.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I want to read this.
So it's a little, I'm rushing through the plot right now, and I have to go in and like firm up some things because some stuff happens in real world, some stuff happens in virtual, and I need to make sure the reader knows where what is happening. But essentially the only locations are in a one city block where, you know, the heroes duke it out, and then his bedroom where, you know, he secretly pines for his arch nemesis.
I love it. I love it.
And I think I even know how to end it on a happily for now. So
good. That's good because the readers are going to expect that. They will crucify you if you don't give them that.
So there's a lot of things happening. It's not lit RPG because the virtual reality is just a simulation. There's no gameplay. So I have to establish two worlds, and then I have to establish the characters, their alter egos. It's got to be superheroes, so there needs to be a little bit of fight, and then there needs to be the romance, and the romance dictates that it must end on a happy note. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot of rules for one story.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Need tissue. Now that I said I'm gonna sneeze, I probably won't sneeze.
I hate that.
I know, it just sits there.
It's it's like your body is screwing with you.
I know. I can still kind of feel it, but it's like lessened. Now that I grabbed tissue, if I hadn't grabbed the tissue, I'd be sneezing all over my freaking keyboard probably.
So yeah, I think I can finish the plot component of this today. So that part I don't think is going to be hard. And then I'll need like I haven't written where sex happens. It just in brackets sexy time.
I do that sometimes too. If I'm not feeling it, or I'm like something isn't working, like I'm trying to write it and it's just not working, I'll move on. I do that
a lot for action.
Yeah, I do that sometimes for action too. Basically, like, this is what happened. This is where I want to leave them at, you know? Because I write sequentially.
Kick ass.
Yeah. Or get ass kicked.
Yeah, or get ass kicked. Because sometimes, like, I know people think that action speeds up a plot, but it actually hinders the story.
Yeah, if it's too long, especially. I did that at the beginning of my, like, the first superhero book I wrote. I was like, Jesus, these fight scenes go on forever. I had to go back and, like, re-edit those.
I am 100%. I know some people are all about the actual, like the technical in a fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
But truth be told, I don't think most people care.
No, I don't think they do.
I think the majority of people really just want get from point A to point B and make it entertaining along the way.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I have been called out for, does she have a third hand? Oh, yeah. She's holding guns and fighting. Huh. Let's work that in.
I actually have to, like, move. I'm like, okay, so if somebody's holding this, you know, can I actually, like, you know, I kind of act it out on my own.
I'll do okay, so if someone punches from this side, I'm going to block and I can't physically, like, this is not a possible thing. And I'm like, and then I even think, does the reader care? Like we watched The Matrix. None of that fighting is realistic.
No. Well, and then you watch the Bourne movies, and there's so many jump cuts that what you as a viewer don't know is that's the fight choreography actually, like, it's got a bunch of telegraphing. There's a bunch of hits that obviously don't land, but the jump cuts hide all of that. Whereas something like Atomic Blonde, where there aren't jump cuts, that's where you really got to get it right.
That's like John Wick. Like,
oh God.
You kind of expect there to be a lot of jump cuts, and you're like, this has been a continuous shot for the last 5 minutes. What the hell?
The thing I'm impressed with about that is that they shot it so it looks continual, but a lot of that is pieced together. It's just super impressive filmmaking.
I'm always impressed because John Wick is almost 2 hours of nonstop action. There's almost no plot when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And yet the plot gets woven underneath all the action. And so even though, like, you've been on a 2-hour adrenaline high, you still walk away going, that was a good story.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap up the saga, honestly.
Yeah, because the fourth one hasn't been filmed yet, though, right?
I think they were filming when COVID hit, because they filmed them all essentially back to back.
Because I know he started filming Matrix 4, which, let's just be honest, I am all in for.
I don't know how I feel about. I hated the third movie with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. I hated that movie. It was such a disappointment.
the story was the story fell victim to wit. And I think this is why I don't like any Chris Nolan movies. I loathe Chris Nolan as a director because if I, the viewer, have to go read the Wikipedia article to fully understand your intention, then you failed.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think the third movie, like, there's a beauty in the fact that Oracle is really the mastermind and Smith really isn't a villain. Like, I love all of those. It just wasn't told in a good way.
No, there is a lot of potential there with some of the elements that they have, but they were really in love with their philosophy, honestly.
Yeah, and the philosophy sold me, and it carried me through movie two because movie two is so deep
Yeah,
that
it's
you
very
overlook a
cerebral.
lot.
Yeah.
But by movie three, you're like, you used up all the goodwill I had for you.
Yeah, they tried to save it with a massive, like, the orgy, but no amount of a good orgy scene can save that film.
I, I wonder if we could go back and ask for the Wachowski sisters cut.
There is a really good, I know we need to get to sprinting, but there is a really good YouTube video basically about how the African American guy in that, I think he's like a pilot, how really it would have been so much of a better movie if it was all from his point of view. It was all his story. And somebody did like this cut of showing you exactly how the story would have gone. And my mind was blown. I'll have to find it and I'll try to link it in the comments. But I was like, okay, I want that movie. Can they just make that movie for me? It was really good.
I'm on, and the funny thing is after the third movie came out, I was like, and then Animatrix. I finally watched the Animatrix, and I was like, ooh, I love Matrix all over again. So, like, they sold me like crap food, and then had a really good dessert, and I was like,
Yeah, they
oh,
had
the
the
whole world was
gourmet.
amazing.
Yeah, the chocolate torte saved it, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Now I want chocolate. Damn it.
Yeah, I do too.
All
I like
right,
chocolate peanut butter cups, so I'm going to go get some of those after this. All right, sprint time. Let's do
Brent.
this.
There's already so many screens.
I know. 749. Woohoo!
Ugh, I hate you.
I just type really fast.
I
Oh.
I kind of got stuck on how. So basically, their sexy time's about to happen, but dun dun dun, the hacker shows up. So going from sexy time to fighting time, you basically have two characters who are about to get it on and they're naked, and oh, now they have to be heroes. But they're
Please tell me they fight naked.
I think I'm going to make that happen.
That is awesome.
Because you would think, like, so what they're trying to do is make sure, like, this hacker shows up, but they don't want to lose their subscribers. So they don't want the subscribers to know that it's not part of the show. So, like,
that's awesome.
You're filming a porn and the cleaning lady shows up and you're like, hey,
what cleaning
lady. Yeah. Like, it's kind of, I'm gonna have to go reread it to make sure that it's not a certain level of ridiculousness, because it kind of feels like if Scooby-Doo was a porn.
Honestly, I think that's okay. I really do, because I've read some erotica and I'm like, you are taking yourself way too seriously. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, it's an alien guy with a forked penis. How serious are we supposed to take this situation?
And I don't understand, like, there are some people who are like, no, I don't want it to break the character. This is getting weird, like, for anyone's taste.
I know. Have fun with it. Seriously. It's the whole setup to me is really original. I haven't read anything like this, and it sounds really fun. So absolutely, just have some fun with it.
So they're going to lose this fight. They're going to regroup. The next scene, it'll happen again, but this time they're prepared for it. And so there'll be like some super action, and then, you know, the grand finale for their subscribers.
Nice.
So
I woke up with this weird pompadour on my head, like literally like this lump right here. I can't get it to lay down.
When I had hair, I have perfect cowlicks that were always formed.
I have one here, and I have one in the back. Like in the back, my back one is just the bane of my existence. I hate it.
Even when my hair was long, it looked like I spent time with a curler getting it to do like a full. No, everyone, that's natural. I'm not trying.
I am actually working on my romance lead magnet right now. That you designed the cover for. And I cannot stop looking at that cover. I love it so much.
I need to get you the files for that, by the way. That's on my to-do list today.
Did you get the payment?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. But I'm at the black moment, I think is what it's called, where they've broken up. She's broken up with him because reasons. But they're on a run from somebody that's like got it out for the male protagonist and is using he's using his authority as a government agent to basically exact revenge on the male hero, and it's putting the female heroine in the crosshairs of it all.
Okay.
So, they're running from the agents. They're trying to figure out how to get her to safety. And he's also trying to figure out, like, oh my God, how do I convince her that, you know, we should be together because she's broken it off with him. And so.
How much more of it do you have to write?
I'm in the last quarter, so I'm in the last. You know, I probably have 5,000 to 7,000 more words. I'm guessing probably close to 7. It's a novella, so I'm kind of going for about 20,000 words, and I think I'll hit that.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, let me actually look. My lead magnet was just shy of 15,000.
Yeah, my superhero one, I think, was about 20. It was a novella as well. I need to refresh that. Actually, I think I need to pull it and put it up for sale because it's not getting any traction these days. So,
I am now doing, so I have probably like 6 or 7 short stories. I have the superhero comedy short.
mhm.
I have a really dark horror cyberpunk story.
Ooh, I'm
Um,
intrigued.
it's witches, but they're not witches. They can hack reality.
Love
Um,
that.
so they can see the code that makes the universe and manipulate it, but they're actually like hackers. Um, and then I have my superhero lead magnet. And what I'm doing is every newsletter that goes out, I'm doing one of each.
Mm, that's
So because I looked at superheroes, I'm the biggest newsletter in our category.
yeah, and I think I'm right behind you,
Yeah,
maybe.
I think you're second because every time I'm like, oh, oh, it's her.
And I just shared yours. It got really good clicks,
And
actually.
that's the thing. Like, I don't want to be like constantly just you and I because
Yeah.
at some point we've had enough share that we're not building anything. So I'm trying to do one of each, and I'm only doing reader magnets right now. I'm not doing any sales clicks. I'm not doing anything. And my unsubscribe rate has gone up, but my retention, like
Mm,
I think I had 160, 180 subscribers with 20 unsubscribes.
okay.
So
That's not bad at all.
no, I'm perfectly content with that. And then you're doing the Atlas builders too, right?
I am.
Have you
I
gotten
haven't
anything about
I
those?
have not gotten anything at all. And what I emailed the person for the Buffy one because I got into the Buffy one. And what she said is when they have it full, they will email us with all the information and let us know. I'm also in the book fair. So I paid the
Okay.
$10 to get into the book fair. I don't have any idea when that's going on. I haven't received anything. I actually need to check the Facebook group and just see if those posts are still up and maybe just like post a question like, what is going on here? What's the status?
Yeah, because it was the same thing with Silver Spring when I did their superhero one. Like I signed up for it, and like 3 months later, it filled, and it was well worth it. But in the meantime, like
You're twiddling your thumbs. You're like, I paid for this. What's going on
I
here?
paid for it, and I want to make sure you get spots in my newsletter,
Yeah,
so
exactly. Like I'm
I
nervous that
don't.
I'm gonna miss something and like screw up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I. That's good to know though, because I had literally the same exact question, like because
I
I
need
signed
to
up for
check.
2 of them.
I need to check my trash and my spam though, because I might. It's very possible that I deleted something and didn't know it. Because I've done that with Ryan Z. The subject lines are not clear. Like from Ryan Z, his subject lines when he has the Excel spreadsheet of all the people that sign up for your newsletter, the subject line makes it look like it's spam. So I either delete it or it ends up in my spam folder every
Oh
time.
yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't gotten anything yet, so
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna check in and see today. Actually, I was thinking about that, but I usually do urban fantasy for my superhero builder. And that was getting me a lot of really good subs there for a while, but I'm getting nothing. So I think I just need a new urban fantasy lead magnet. But I'm going to be leaning hard into romance too. So I'm not really sure.
Well, and
I'm
when
not
you
really
do
sure
your
if it's worth it.
romance, I would I would have your romance people go into a separate group
Yes,
because I'm
I'm
sure
already
there's
doing that.
overlap. But
No, I've already I've already poached the few like really good romance readers out of my subscribers, and it's not even 100 people. So
yeah,
my main list right now is hardcore urban fantasy and sci-fi. So yeah, I'm doing a completely separate list for romance. That's like I have to do that.
I need to start finding a way to tag them as they come in because I don't put them in separate groups, but I do tag them.
Oh,
So, um, and I know there's a way to do it through Story Origin. I just have to figure it out.
yeah. There's a way to do it through MailerLite, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'll go on my figure it out list for later
Yeah.
today.
All right.
Okay, gonna hop in.
Okay. I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, this one was abysmal. Abysmal. Oh, yeah. The in-laws are sending me messages. Apparently, when you make your mother-in-law Shrek in a photo, it's not appropriate. But that's what they get for sending me a photo. So
I completely blew past. Yeah, I didn't get my words in.
cheater.
No, I did get my words in, but so I can't do sprint word count. What do I do in Discord? Do I just do word count?
For sprints. Oh, you just do sprint.
I did sprint, but I blew past the 2 minutes. It won't,
Do
like, it's gonna be testy with me.
do exclamation mark update and whatever your new word count is.
Okay. Because I totally blew past it. I was like, ooh, action sequence.
I
I
yeah,
wrote 100. I wrote more than that. Liar! I think I actually wrote about 556. Let's see here.
I only got 200, so
5539. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I wrote more than that. That's okay. Whatever. I have a hard time sometimes if I'm really in the groove. I'm like, I just don't even pay attention to the Discord.
I have things that pop up all over my computer being like, you need to be on this screen, go look at this and do this. And
Oh, wow. Miranda did the math for me. 807. Woohoo.
holy crap. Yeah, my Rich's mom asked me if I could fix a photo from his sister's wedding. And so, of course, the first photo I colored her in green and made her Shrek. And then now I'm putting Bernie Sanders in all the photos.
Now they're from Scotland. Do they understand what that is?
When I did it the first time to a random photo, they all were like, oh, put Bernie in this photo, put Bernie in this photo. So Bernie has no international boundaries, is what I've learned.
Oh, God, yeah, okay.
And then today, Sir Thomas More died.
What?
Sir Thomas More, he was, and I'm going to get this wrong, he is a former member of the UK military. I don't know what branch or anything about it.
Okay.
But when COVID hit, he was the guy who he did fundraising for the NHS in the UK by walking laps around his house. And
oh my God.
the dude's 99 years old and he's getting money donated for every lap he does.
Yeah.
And he made like an exorbitant amount of money. And then for his 100th birthday, because, you know, all of the UK wanted to celebrate with him, everyone sent him cards. And so, of course, you know, he's elderly, so he can't even be around the cards because, you know, danger. So there's just photographs of rooms filled to the brim with cards for him.
Oh my God.
But yeah, he's kind of like a national hero.
And he died? Oh.
And he died today. So I'm seeing it pop up on all the UK authors. Oh, Captain Tom Moore, who raised millions, dies at age 100. And I believe, and I might get this completely wrong, he was knighted during COVID. So,
oh, wow.
He got knighted in response to his fundraising. Oh.
What?
He died from COVID.
No! Oh my God.
He would have been 101.
That makes me so sad.
He pledged to walk 100 laps around his 50-yard long garden before his 100th birthday and initially hoped to raise £1,000 for the NHS. He ultimately raised £33 million for the country's health services.
Oh my God. That is so sad.
Moore was knighted by the Queen at a ceremony at Windsor Castle in July when she thanked him for his amazing amount of money that he had raised. Oh, they did actually knight him in person.
Sad that he got COVID. I mean,
yeah.
Seriously.
Moore served with the British Army in India, Burma, and World War II as a captain, but was given the honorary title of colonel after the fundraising.
He died a colonel.
That's so sad.
What a good guy.
I watched some of the live video of him, and it was like one of those good things that come out of all the crazy.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question? Change the subject.
Go for it.
I'm in a romance group. It's a lot of new authors like that have never published. And somebody was asking about editing and how much you should charge, how much you should like pay for it. And somebody said for copy editing and proofing, $2,000 wasn't that much. And I'm just sitting here like thinking, how long is your manuscript? And
So
their romance is usually like, if it's not epic, I mean, it's like 65 to 80,000 words, and $2,000 sounds like an exorbitant amount of money for that.
the highest amount I have paid is $1,200 for all my for
How
like
many
real
words was
extreme. And that was 106,000.
Okay, so over 100,000. We're talking like well below 100,000 words, though.
So if you go look at the National Editors Association, like a pro editor, like a full, like this is their job and they have a reputation. I believe it's supposed to be 8 cents a word.
Okay.
And if you do out, like.
Is that 8 cents or is it 0.008?
Oh, I might have that.
Because I'm just looking at some of the figures some of these authors are finding, and I'm just like, for 65,000 words, if you have to pay $2,000 for a copy edit, I think someone's taking you for a ride. Like, that just doesn't sound right to me.
And, on top of that, that's like, you're never ever going to see your profit.
Yeah. And I know my first book, she did developmental and line editing, and it was a little over 100,000 words. It might have been like 110,000, so much too long. And it was over $3,000. It might have been close to $4,000, which at the time I thought was super expensive, but I didn't know any better, and she was a pro, so I paid it. And then you and I had a conversation in Chicago a few years ago, and I realized that I was like way overpaying for my editing. And I just don't want anybody else to have that terrible experience ever. Like, so.
Well, and I really think that people need to really do their due diligence. Like,
yeah,
my current editor is way, way cheaper, but I will also say, like, my current editor, I'm getting what I pay for. I'm getting more than what I pay for, but I'm not getting a $2,000 edit.
Yeah.
Like, if, some people are like, there should be absolutely no errors afterwards. Yeah, tell Stephen King that when there was a typo in the first sentence of his first book.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that.
Some typos are like cockroaches. They will survive any edits that you put them through.
Yeah, and there are just simply some things that will not ever, ever, ever be perfect.
Yeah.
And some of that is just simply you read it a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is why I try to read all my books out loud before they go to the proof read stage, because I know I will catch things.
So I definitely, I wouldn't pay $2,000. Like, for that, like, someone best be buying 100 copies of my book.
I know. Are you gonna help me sell it too? Like, is there a cover included in that?
Yeah, because that's just kind of, as far as I'm concerned, a little ludicrous.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because it sounded really bad to me, honestly. And I was just looking at the post. Somebody else made a comment about how they spent over $2,000 for their first book at 65,000 words, and how they thought they were getting this great edit, and they got crap. They were like, I found her on Readsy. She was vetted. I thought I was getting a great deal for development and copy editing. And she's like, I got next to no feedback, and it was still full of errors. I'm just like, shit. That happens, and it sucks.
Yeah, I definitely not 2,000. $1,000 I can understand, especially if there's a reputation with it. And at 50,000 words, I'm sorry, but that's like I had my novella done by a professional, and I do mean a true professional.
Mm-hmm.
But the that came in, and this was like a 15,000 or let's say 20,000 word story. That came in about $800.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, your mileage may vary, type situation.
Yeah. I just when I commented on that, I was like, one of the things I said was shop around. Don't just take the first person that you find, because that's what I did. And that's not a good idea.
Yeah, and I always kind of feel that when people ask those questions, the first people that come out of the woodwork are the people who are like, I need to tell you, like, you're going to pay this because I need to make myself feel better for how much money I spent on this.
Yeah. I just don't want anybody to ever make my mistake. Like that, I still cringe at how much I shelled out for that, honestly. And she gave me some great feedback. But when I relaunched it and I had the editor I have now go back over it, she was like, who the hell did this to you? And I was like, damn, that $3,500 really, it didn't really produce a better book necessarily.
And that's the other thing. Like, I don't think that a lot of the time that stuff will produce a it would be one thing, like, and I do feel this about cover, because that's a purely visual, like, at least if your story is badly edited, if it's a good story, people will overlook a lot of stuff. But on a book, you basically have the title and the visual. And if one of those things doesn't add up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, mileage may vary, but
just be smart about it.
Yeah. Especially because, you know, that is a crap ton of money.
I know. Yeah.
What is going on? There we go. I'm trying to very quickly edit a photo. And the thing I'm trying to edit is teeth, which you would think would be super easy, but to get them to look like teeth and not like chiclets.
Okay, that makes sense, actually.
Is way harder than.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to begin with that. I'm actually going to have to sign off because the girls are coming home from their half day of school soon. And we had a COVID scare at the school, so that's very, makes me always feel so good. It's in the afternoon session, not the morning session, so my girls weren't necessarily exposed, but
the schools here have today off because it is a snow day.
Groundhog's Day, even. And Imbolc for all of you pagans out there. Happy Imbolc.
Miranda, if you go, hold on, I'm going to put this in Association of Editors.
Did you find it?
There is I think it's the Freelancers Association. The editorial rates, there we go. So in this number, so here is the rates. The numbers that come with this are upwards of 29 cents a word.
What? 29 cents a word?
Oh, 0.029.
Oh.
But I also say this as a graphic designer where my professional organization, for my years of experience, I should be making roughly $200 to $250 an hour. And if I charged that, I would be poor.
Yeah.
I charge somewhere in like the $100 an hour range, which is way more reasonable, and the market can sustain what I'm charging. So when I always see those numbers and you see like the upper end rate, you're like, a graphic designer that makes $250 an hour is called an art director, and the art director of Dunkin' Donuts might make that money.
Yeah.
Also, a 70-year-old dude in charge of it, not an average working designer. So I always take those numbers with a grain of salt.
I also think that some of these editors that have come out of New York publishing, they expect to be paid what they were paid with New York publishing houses without understanding the indie market cannot sustain those rates. It's a totally different market. And
again, as a creative, I will always pay what I think something is worth. And I try and very kind of like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but so I get my groceries delivered from Target. They get a percentage right there off the bat.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're getting that. I will also tip you way above the recommended amount because you are doing a service that I either cannot or will not do.
Exactly.
And in this case, you're putting your life on the line.
Like we have felt that way too. Like our delivery, like when we get takeout and the delivery guy, we've been tipping a lot more because it's exactly what it is. You're putting your life on the line, coming in contact with my family and every other family you deliver to.
So even when it comes to editors, like my cover artist is actually on the low end of the spectrum, and I have kind of nudged and said, like, you need to raise your rates on me. And he is raising his rates every like trilogy I do. He goes up a little bit. Money well spent. So, because if I was doing my own book covers, and I keep thinking about doing it, but I don't want to.
I was just going to ask if you had ever thought about that.
When I do the romance covers, I probably will do my own because I want them branded with a couple similar elements, but I want them to be so visually different that there's no mistake what you're picking up is because I'm not going to do a pen name. So I want to make sure that when someone picks up a superhero romance novel in my world, you instantly look at it and go, this isn't like the others. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, Oh no, I have to spend all day looking for man chest covers.
Your life is so hard.
I know. Like yesterday, I was like, ugh, this woman is too naked.
Actually, that is a concern on Amazon because they will put you in the dungeon and you won't even know it.
I have this awesome. I'm gonna start working on a cover that involves a demon chasing this woman who is like an elven archer. Um,
I love it.
I'm so excited to start working on this. I've been doing superheroes for the last 2 weeks, so I'm getting ready to let's do some fantasy for a
Let's
while.
have some fun. I was just looking at a book from an author. I've read some of their fantasy romance stuff. Loved the first book, and I got to the second book, and I got past the first 3 chapters, and I threw the book across the room because here's the thing: if you're an author and you're listening to this, just be aware that if you set up that one of your characters has been abused in any way and is sensitive when maybe a guy is violent or yelling at her, like violent around her or violent towards her, and you build up this beautiful trusting relationship, and then within the first 3 chapters of the next book you have said man be violent and screaming around her, and it turns her on, so they end up having sex against the wall. You've just really completely ruined
that
story for me.
I get it. Like you need to reset a relationship so it has a chance to, romance again. But there's no coming back from this.
Not if you set up. I mean, this was a deep-seated thing for this character in the first book, and I was there for it. And the author was true to that, to those wounds that they had set up. And then I feel like they completely betrayed my trust as a reader with that. And so now I'm looking at another one of their series, and I'm like, okay, but they are a really good reader, and the romance was pretty hot in the first book. So why don't I give, this other series a try? But what I'm cheesed off about looking at the product page is her ebook is only 30 cents cheaper than her mass market paperback.
Oh.
And I know that generally that's a publisher decision, but it looks like it's a small press, first of all. Second of all, if you're an author and your publisher does that and you are with a small press, call them up and harangue the shit out of them. Because I'm telling you right now, they are hamstringing your ability to make money, because that pisses off ebook readers like nothing else.
Yeah, I always have a beef when I look at the ebook and I'm like, really? Like, and I get it. That's pure profit, but you're milking the wrong person in this scenario.
Exactly. My paperbacks are much more expensive than my ebooks. Even though I raised my ebook prices at the beginning of the year to $4.99, my paperbacks are still way more expensive. The ebook is a deal by comparison. 30 cents is not a deal. 30 cents difference is buy me dinner before you fuck me, at least. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like that's not a number I can. Well, and that's like even worse than that is when you see the publisher has listed the ebook higher than the print book.
Then there's that. Yep. That also hoses me off.
I just want to message them and be like, I'll buy it. You have to now convince me. Like, the author, are single-handedly now responsible for convincing me why.
I have a handful, like I can count them on one hand, literally, the authors that I will, first of all, I will buy all their new releases sight unseen because I love them that much. And I will pay the money for either the paperback or the hardback book, regardless of how cheap the ebook is, because I love these authors and I want their books. There's 3 that I could say that about. And so vast majority of authors, if your ebook is the same price as your paperback or more expensive or only like 30 cents cheaper, you're going on my TBR, but you're going way down the list on my TBR because I don't care for those shenanigans.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but there's really nothing you could do to convince me.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, it's not the author's fault.
it's
They are a
not.
victim of
No.
the game.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying, like, if you're in a small press situation, if you're being published through a small press, contact them because they are, generally speaking, more accessible to authors and more willing to work with you. Contact your publisher, talk to them about what they are doing to the revenue streams because they are not making things easier on themselves or you as a business person. They're screwing you over.
And from a reader standpoint, like I do go bargain hunting.
Yeah,
So
I read enough where I have to.
yeah, so what explain to me your logic, and if there is logic involved, then okay, I'm here for it. But
Yeah.
uh,
Like you're competing against Kindle Unlimited. I'm a Kindle Unlimited subscriber. So if your ebook is like what we've talked about pricing wise compared to your paperback, not only am I kind of pissed off that you're doing that, but also I've got a bunch of other books that I could read essentially for free with my subscription. So why should I pay paperback prices for your ebook when I've got a bunch of others that I can read without having to pay for?
yeah, I don't know what that logic is, unfortunately.
Me neither. Scree over. I'm
Yeah.
done now.
All right. Well,
All right.
I will be back tomorrow because this book needs to be written by Saturday.
Yeah.
So
It's going in our anthology. It's the last minute edition. I'm super excited.
I have 2 more scenes to write, and then I'll give you I'll give you the book without the sex, and I'll go write the sex.
Okay, that's fine.
I have no problem. Like I know I can write sex. That I'm okay with. A plot that makes sense, that can be questionable at times.
Yeah, send it my way. I'll beta read it for you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Happy writing.